Today we're going to talk about zeros of a function. Okay, zeros of a function, y'all, are simply just where a graph crosses the x-axis. Okay, so let's go over a few definitions here. The x-intercept. The x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. And the y-coordinate is 0. So the x-intercept is wherever it crosses the x-axis, so your ordered pair is x, wherever it crosses, and 0, because your y-coordinate is 0. The other definition, or the other vocabulary word I want to go over is y-intercept. Okay, and this is where the line crosses the y-axis, and the x-coordinate is 0. So if your x-coordinate is 0, your ordered pair is going to be 0, and then whatever it crosses the y-axis, okay? Steps to solving for zeros, the x and y intercepts. If you are trying to solve for the x-intercept, first, substitute y equals 0. So you're going to substitute a 0 in for y, and then you're going to solve for x. Okay? Now, when you're trying to find the y-intercept, you're going to first substitute zero for x. You're going to substitute in x equals 0. Okay? And then the second is you're going to solve for y. So, solve for the x and y intercepts. So we have 10x plus y equals 30. So the first thing we're going to do is let's solve for the, I'm going to actually draw a little box here. And we're going to solve for the x-intercept. Now the x-intercept is where y equals 0, remember? So we're going to substitute in a 0 for y. So we have 10x plus 0 equals 30. I pulled out the y, I plugged in a 0. Okay, now this leaves me with 10x equals 30. Now I divide by 10, x equals 3. So my ordered pair would be 3, 0. Okay, so now I'm going to solve for my y-intercept. Now this is where x equals 0, okay? Your y-intercept is where x equals 0. So I'm going to plug in a 0 for x. So now I have 10 times 0 plus y equals 30. 0 plus y equals 30. I don't really need the 0, so you have y equals 30. So your ordered pair is 0, 30. Okay, let's do it 2 more times. Let's work on 2 more problems here. Sorry about my voice. I lost my voice earlier this week. Here we go. Solve for the x and y intercept. So we're going to do the same thing. X-intercept, y-intercept. The x-intercept is where y equals 0. The y-intercept is where x equals 0. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in 0 for y. So we have 0 equals negative x minus 4. Okay, so now we're going to solve for x. We're going to add 4 to both sides. 4 equals negative x. Now you can't ever have a negative variable. So we have to divide by a negative 1. Negative 4 equals x. So our ordered pair is negative 4, 0. Okay. Now on your y-intercept, you have to solve where x equals 0. So you have y equals negative 0 minus 4. Now, 0 is never positive or negative. So you're actually just left with y equals -4. So your ordered pair is x is 0, y is -4. Pause the video at any time if I'm going too fast, okay? Now let's look at this one. Now remember, f of x is the same as y, okay? So remember that as we go through this process. Okay, so x-intercept, y-intercept. The x-intercept is where y equals 0. The y-intercept is where x equals 0. Okay, so we are going to plug in, remember, y is also the same thing as f of x. So we're just going to plug in a 0 for f of x. 0 equals 3x plus 0.2. So now we're going to subtract 0.2. Equals 3x. Now we're going to separate the x, and we're going to divide by 3. And so in your calculator, when you put this in, negative 0.2 divided by 3, you're going to hit math, enter, enter, and you're going to get the fraction -1/15. So your ordered pair is -1/15, 0. Okay? Now, x equals 0. What this is saying is now you have f of x equals 3x plus 0.2, and it says make x 0. So you're having the function of 0 equals 3 times 0 plus 0.2. F of 0 equals 0 plus 0.2. So f of 0 equals 0.2. And if you put that in the calculator, you do 0.2 and hit math, enter, enter, your fraction is 1/5. So f of 0 equals 1/5. So your ordered pair is 0 and 1/5.